That first one wasn't bad. The first one wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, it's
yeah,
a little different.
no cussing in the first 5 minutes.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, I forgot about that one, and that's one of my main. Like I cuss so much, but yeah. So let's give it a couple minutes. I like to let it go for a minute, and then we'll go.
No, I bet.
I think in like the first one we got about like all together, like including like the little clips and all that, like 20K so far in the first week.
That's cool. That's cool shit. Some cool numbers right there.
Yeah, but the feedback was cool. Like the people who did like comment back or like say anything, like that shit was what's dope. You know how it is. Like the feedback kind of outweighs the views.
So even the shit talking, fucking that shit helps the algorithm. So fuck it
Oh
up.
hell yeah. That's why bro, on the Facebook I had posted my son, like I was like, my son's about to get circumcised. If if they mess up, he's about to be my daughter or whatever, right? And I put hashtag circumcision. Bro, I got like a whole army of white women coming and talking about like you're mutilating him and blah 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 blah. And I'm just trolling them because it keeps the algorithm going and I get paid off Facebook.
No shit, that's what's up. Yeah, I deleted my Facebook, bro. It was just too much already. And to be honest, like I wasn't really doing numbers like I used to on Facebook. Shit, Instagram's where it's at for me.
Bro, I do no numbers on Facebook. Like I got one video that has like 2 million, but other than that, like
Yeah, not
no
Facebook
numbers on
where
Facebook.
it's at. Where it's for sure Instagram and TikTok, but they about to take away TikTok. So
But yeah, that's why I started like once I heard that like a few months ago, I started shining away with it, and it sucks too because that's where I have like all my followers. I got like 12K.
yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, you want to start off with what's your name? Where you from?
Shit, I go by Spooky Myers. I'm an independent artist out of Atwater, California. You know what I mean? Fucking sorry about that. I mean, hey,
You're all good.
it's hard not to cuss, bro. But yeah, I go by.
You're all good. As far at the end of the day, bro, this is episode 2. Like, if we don't get monetized, we won't get monetized. I'd rather stay real, anyways.
Yeah, no, I feel it. Now I go by Spooky Myers. I'm an independent artist out of Atwater, California, bro.
How old are you?
I'm 28.
Yeah, see,
Hey,
that's the
so
thing.
and just to set the record clear, because all these dudes be on trolling me on it, like, oh, you pushing 40, still trying to be a rapper. Like, even if I was pushing 40, I would still be a rapper. And second of all, I'm 28, so
Hey, that's funny too, because I have seen those. I have seen the comments too, especially on the YouTube comments.
yeah, like, hey, they be adding age on me. I'm just like, bro, you know what I mean? Hey, wisdom comes with age, so you know what I mean. You guys
It's like
ain't
that
nothing
whole
but
like
flatter.
like when a Dominican player comes from when a Dominican player comes into the America to play for baseball, and they don't fucking know the real age and shit. It's classic.
Yeah, no, they be. I'm like, damn, it's the beard, bro. It adds a few. You know what I mean? I had shaved it, and you know what I mean. But you know what? Like, you know, my wife likes the beard, so you know what I mean. That's what.
Yeah, same thing. I started doing the beard after I got stabbed.
Yeah,
And it's funny too because like what I realized too on the internet, man, it's just a bunch of kids. Like you got, like, and some of these motherfuckers are funny. Like wait till they get a load, like wait till I blow up and they see these teeth. You think I'm not gonna get it? But my challenge is to see what if they can come up with anything new.
yeah. No, I feel it.
Yeah. And you remember when the game said, you 40 and you still rapping?
Yeah, and he's like that, and he's damn near 50 still
Damn
rapping.
near 50. Yeah, feeling real stupid.
Yeah,
That one
hey,
did.
that's off the Doctor's Advocate album.
Yeah. How old were you when you started rapping? Because I remember seeing videos like way back in the day, like before I even met you. Like,
Yeah, so I started rapping. I was probably like I've always kind of wrote like music, but like when I started like recording, like probably um, like 15, and then like when I started taking it serious, I guess professionally, you could say I was probably like 18, 19 when I started really like really started taking it serious, and that's kind of when I really started like you know what I mean like doing numbers. I was probably like 18 already.
and then from your jurisdiction, like who was some influences as far as rappers?
Like locally,
Yeah.
uh off tops the ops that were dissing us, you know what I mean, they influenced me to go and this day ASS is back because I knew I could do better. Nah, but honestly, that them for sure, but I want to say like Super DZ, like he was one of the first rappers out of Atwater, you know what I mean. He you know what I mean, he was doing good locally. uh yeah, that's the homie Pelon. The homie Pelon. For you guys don't know, I still make music with him to this day. He was definitely influence, um, a local influence. The homie Hormiga from Planada, RIP. That was definitely another one.
Yeah, I think I remember like back in the day. I remember I think like Brownie and him beat like Brownie from the others from the north side, and then always from West Side Merced. But I think it was like Brownie and then the dude you just mentioned. To me, those were like the two big names locally back
Yeah.
in the day. Um, what you touched on too. So like I see it in Chicago a lot. Like for example, FBG Duck. He was trying to like just focus on the music and not diss, but he kept getting dissed so much. Like, did that play a part in you like having to like say something back to kind of just stick up for your
Nah,
guys themselves?
I low key started it. Like, oh yeah, no, actually, I didn't start it because they're, you know what I mean. They, you know what I mean. Like
At
I
least you're honest.
know
At
what I'm
least
talking
you're
about.
honest.
Yeah, I think you know who I'm talking about. The guys, down
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
down the
yeah,
way. You know what I mean? Those
yeah.
fucking they you know what I mean? Those guys were just like they were just talking so much, and it was just like it was honestly they were the only, I don't think it was that necessarily because that's kind of the only reason I started rapping. Like I always kind of rapped and stuff. I would always freestyle with you know what I mean. Like like messing around on the block, just drinking, like oh bust a freestyle, like oh the homie could rap, like bust a flow. So like that's definitely like where I start. Like so I always knew I could rap, but like like when I actually like sat there and tried to like record a song was for that reason because just to diss them back and you know what I mean.
Right.
Their song,
So speaking of the freestyle thing you just mentioned too, like a lot of the old videos where you guys like are in garages and all that stuff, like were those freestyles or like
yeah, no, they were all freestyles, and I
yeah,
was
they just seem like just random.
yeah, just random. And I know which one you're talking about too specifically. And bro, like it was crazy because I had did another one before that, but they weren't recording, and I was going off, bro. So like that's
Mm,
cool that the phone started recording, but that's when the alcohol started kicking in, and I wasn't like it wasn't sounding as good as the first, you know what I mean? And but
yeah,
that's what I got posted.
you guys were kids, huh? You guys were
Yeah,
kids.
I think at that time I was probably 16.
Yeah, because I think when I first seen you and Bubba was probably around you guys were probably like 13, 14, I want to say.
Yeah, no, yeah, that was before I started rapping.
Yeah, yeah. Bubba still had like a baby face.
Yeah.
And then if I remember correctly, like you started getting your buzz, right? You guys had that video that you guys shot on the block. You guys started getting your buzz. And if I remember correctly, what like you guys had a music video and it kind of stalled things, right? Like there was a strap around laying around or whatever, and you got violated.
Nah, there was a few straps in that video that were of course props, right? But what's it called? So like at that time, like nowadays, like you see everybody with guns in the videos, and
Right, right,
that's a big like everybody does it now. But back then, in those days, which I want to say what like 10, 11 years ago, that wasn't cool. Like you know what I mean? Like
right,
tripping. So we came out and we had like we had all kinds of shit in the video, right? Like they look like automatic weapons and
right.
fucking and
Because if I'm not
automatic
mistaken, you
rifles.
had like you started fight like you got because I remember you always posting, hey, good publicity, bad publicity is all
Yeah.
publicity. You
So
know what I'm
I
saying?
I did that video, right? And I forgot why cuz I shot that video in 2014, but it didn't come out till 2015. And I want to say there was something holding it back from coming out. I think everybody was scared, like not scared, but like everybody was tripping like, "Hey, like
Right.
don't post that video, don't post that video," including some of the artists that were featured on that song, cuz there
Right.
was two of
After
the artists.
during the moment it feels cool, but after you start using your brain a little bit, you're like, wait a
Yeah.
minute.
So yeah, so that's kind of what it was, bro. And then I want to say like I think we ended up dropping it like a few months later, like I want to say like 8 9 months later we ended up dropping it. And then as soon as we dropped it, bro, that shit just like it was just like the views weren't all that, bro. And then next thing you know, like the kids like cuz it was catchy, right? So the kids at the local high schools like Buhack, Howard High were
Right.
listening to like the fucking the people who ran the school were like kind of like peeping game, and then like Alwater Valley, and they're like, oh, what the hell, like these guys got hella guns in the videos. So they started like, like that kind of was the beginning of the that was kind of the beginning of like the the it was like an NWA moment, bro. And then so like that's when one of the artists on the song was like, hey bro, take that shit down. That's just gonna get us caught up. But I'm like,
Right.
dude, fuck it. So we ended up taking it down because at just getting pressured and stuff. But then I was or actually I don't think we took it. I don't remember. It was so long ago. But I
Yeah, it
remember
was a long time ago.
yeah, I remember really that the videos just kind of stayed stagnant. It was like whatever, but what happened was the ops, and like the guys from Merced, they shot a video and they got caught doing or some shit. Like they ended up like start tripping on them because they were showing like they showed a couple guns. So like they did a big old raid on them, a crackdown, and they arrested all those guys. And there was I don't think it was a Sunstar. I think it was like it was like another like local news media
Nah,
outlet.
it was the same. It was like the Merced News County Television.
Yeah, news and television, something like that.
Bro,
Well,
he had
that
like he had a vendetta against a lot of people, bro.
no,
On both sides though. On
including
both
me.
sides.
We'll get into that right now. But like he posted, he's like, "Oh, good job to the Merced Gang Task Force for like cracking down on these guys." And he's like, "But look, that's nothing compared to what the gang members in Atwater are allowed to show." So he posted our video, and that shit just blew, bro. Like that shit went hell out of proportion. I had parents reaching out to me saying that, you know what I mean, like it was just crazy, bro. Like I had people
Yeah,
like
and it's funny too because
parents and
couple.
yeah, like making it seem like I'm over here like I'm just like the fucking the devil, the biggest gang recruiter around here, like. And it just went crazy, bro. And then next, they started kicking down doors on us, and they ended up taking me in for a probation violation because I was on probation at the time.
Mm,
So they ended up sending me to prison over that fucking video, bro, because
right.
I had violated. So I had never violated before, but such it was. And then at that time too, there was there was something that had taken place, like someone had passed away at a party, and I happened to be there at that party when it took place, so they took me in for that, and then they used the video against me. So it was like my first violation. I had been on probation already like a year at that time, but it was just so much that they just ended up just sending me to prison for the first time. I only did like, I think I did like 8 9 months. I did like a turnaround and came home, but I ended up going to prison over that, and then over that video and stuff. And yeah, bro, fucking
And then when you got out, is that what happened? Is that when the park incident happened next?
yeah, so I got out, right, and then I wasn't really like doing music so much, but I was still riding the wave of the success of
Right,
helping
because it was still
stars.
going. It was still
Yeah,
going. Like those
it
views
was
were
still going.
steadily going up and up and up in the comments and everything.
Yeah. So there was some names reaching out to us at that around that time. You know what I mean? Like what I mean, fucking like Snitch Ass Mr. Criminal. Like at that time, he was reaching out to us. Trying to sign us. You know what I mean? And then there was a couple other artists that were reaching out to us. So but at that time, I didn't really care about music. Like I was just more like concerned about
I
the
remember your comments. I'm
yeah,
not
I
a
was just
rapper. I'm a gang member.
yeah, nah, I was just concerned about this. You know what I mean? I just wanted to be in the streets, bro, and
Yeah.
I music was just something that I did like as a hobby. So
Yeah, and you guys were young. You know how it is when you're young. I mean, look at me. I don't even gang bang, and I was outside all the fucking time.
yeah,
And like that's just what the neighborhood does to you, though. But like, to me, I always looked at that like as a blessing in disguise for you
yeah, no, definitely.
because of what transpired next with the feds and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, they ended up putting me on the bracelet. Like when I got out of prison, because they wanted to keep me out of the hole. Excuse me, they wanted to keep an eye on me. So, but at that time, I had did that song, the one where they rolled up on us at the park, and I was like, let's do a video, and then that was like kind of the first professional video we did because
did
before
you
that,
focus up?
with the phones and like we're editing our own videos. But that one that you're talking about, the park, it was the first time I actually got a cameraman and like
Right, right. Yeah, it was a big deal. I remember.
yeah. So we did that video, and I was on the bracelet at that time, but I was just like, fuck it, like we'll shoot it. If
Mhm.
anything comes to worse, I'll just release it, later. So what happened was we're at the park. We're shooting like barely the first scene of the damn video, bro. Like literally, we were shooting like the first scene, and the a cop who happened to be gang task force, but he wasn't working gang task force at that time. He was just like as a patrol officer. He cruises by that park and he sees us, and everybody starts throwing up gang signs at him. I'm like, bro, what the hell? You know what I mean? So of course he flipped it, and then everybody took off, bro. And then I had left my car there, but not only had I left the car there, I had left it with the windows down. So when I took off, I had jumped in somebody else's car and I got away. So I waited about an hour and then I came back and I was like, I need to go back for my car, bro. So I went back and I walked right into the trap. So they got me, they fucking cuffed me, they took me in. I ended up doing I ended up going to the county, and at that time, the county, I was supposed to only do like a couple days, but I ended up going to the county, and I'll talk about it because I got convicted of it. I ended up getting caught with, what I mean, some stuff I shouldn't have had in the county. Like I got a
Right,
case for I got caught with drugs in the county, bro. So
right,
so I ended up catching the case for that. So my 30-day violation turned into like a 8 month stay. You know what I mean? But within those 8 months is when the Fed started watching us. So they
right,
ended up
right.
giving me an early kick, and like literally like a 2 3 month early kick. And I was tripping like, what the hell? They don't do this. Especially because the block was empty. They kicked me out. I'm like 19 at the time, so I didn't really care. I'm like, well, I'm out.
Yeah, you're out, but at the same time, something in the back of your head's like
Yeah,
something's
it is
up.
right,
It's
but
fishy.
it is what it is. You know what I mean? They kicked me out, And then yeah, that's when everything went down when they built that case on us, and the feds ended up picking us up. And the reason they had kicked me out was they pretty much were releasing me into the trap, bro. Because if
Right.
I would have
Yeah,
did,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. They
I
just
was
want to
only
let
out,
you guys keep committing crimes.
yeah, I was only out 2 months, like 60 days, and I ended up
Mhm.
picking up that case where the feds picked us up, and they so those 60 days were the 60 days I had left in the county. So if I would have just did my time and got out, I wouldn't have ended up going up for those 5 years.
And then, knowing, because like I said, I'm from the same neighborhood at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, uh, when you were younger, did you have a lot of run-ins with the cops as far as like going to juvie and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, for sure. I was in and out. I used to live in that motherfucker. Like I was in. I would get out. I'd be out for a week or two, and I'd go right back. You know what I
I
mean?
figured
So
because you guys like I would see you guys like I'd see you guys at the neighbor's house, and then I wouldn't see you guys for a while. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And the reason I was always aware of who you were and who Bubba was is because my dumbass little cousin at the time, rest in peace, but he had a big ass mouth, and because of how I was, as far as like fighting and popping off and whatever, as quick as I was, like he was almost trying to like mimic it, and but he was a pussy, and
yeah. I remember your cousin. Rest in peace and shit. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
yeah, nah, definitely.
So that's
Yeah,
how I was aware. That's how I knew who you guys were because when I seen the size difference between you guys and him, I'm like, why are you talking shit?
yeah, nah, yeah, nah. I remember all that stuff. You know what I mean? And then
It was just little kid shit, but it's just
yeah,
funny too because what I'm getting at is, I remember when so he started trying to hang out on Determined with us, and
hmm
then this is when you guys were obviously doing your thing. You guys were obviously big dogs in the area, and then I remember his face when you guys pulled up, and you didn't remember him at the time.
yeah.
You got bigger fish to fry at the end of the day. But Bubba, him and Bubba, I guess, had classes, so they knew each other. And then Bubba was like, and then he's like, Ryan, Ryan, Ryan. I was like, bro, these are my friends. Like, it's cool. Like, relax. Like, I know
Yeah.
them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't like you're nobody to them. And then I'll never forget. He looked at, but he was trying to fit in, and he was like, yeah, bro, you dropped me like a bitch. And Bubba was like, don't ever say that again, bro. Don't tell nobody that.
Yeah.
Cause
Nah,
I was like, Joe. Well, yeah, that fool's a
nah.
nut.
And in those times too, that they speaking of, like it was real. I'm
Yeah,
not trying
yeah,
to
it
say it's
was
not
real.
it's not spunky now, but it definitely isn't as bad as it was back then.
Yeah, no, it was like we would be on like I said, we don't bang, and we would be on our toes just being out and about, just because at that
Yeah.
point everybody was just trying to catch someone slipping to try to get back and whatever, whatever, whatever. But when did you never YA or nothing?
No, no,
Yeah,
almost, but no.
yeah. Honestly, bro, like I feel like it's harder to get to YA than people think. You gotta smoke someone damn near.
Yeah, damn near, or just keep fucking up in the hall, like and they'll send you there eventually. But nah, I ended up. I think I was like 17 at the time or 16. I don't remember, but I ended up catching it. I went out to Santa Rosa to go hang out with some girls out there, and I ended up catching a case out there. For some like crazy shit. Like I ended up going on a high speed chase. I crashed. I fucking the guys in the car. They got all they like what I mean broke. Like one guy broke his pelvis, and the other one fucking broke his nose. So they gave me like a GBI and a felony invading charge, and then they also there was a gun found, not in the car but on the side of the road, that they were trying to throw on us. They tried to say that we threw it out the car, but you know I don't know how that got there, but so they were
Could be
so
anybody.
yeah, it was a big deal. So they ended up they were trying to send me to YA for that, but for luckily my mom, she was going to college at that time, so she had got her financial aid check, and she had ended up getting me a lawyer. So
Man, that's cool because like I said, I'm a little older than you, right? So like I actually remember like your family, your mom and them. Like I don't like obviously I was young, but I remember like Sammy, Monica, like you know what I'm saying, like all them running around at that time because it was a
yeah,
different era. There was a lot of different gangs that they're intertwined in that area, in that
yeah.
radius from the canal to the to Secretariat. But did you go to Bellevue School and all that in the early days too?
Oh hell yeah! I went to Bellevue when it was still uniforms, bro.
Yeah, bro. Hey, we were there. We so like the first year or two, we didn't have uniforms, right? And I don't care what nobody says. Like the school's gonna say what they want. My recognition, like recollection. I'm not. You know what? We're gonna clown that. My memory. I'm ghetto too. uh, my memory was like the gangs were tired of seeing red,
Yeah.
and that's what it really was.
Well,
Because I remember, because so my favorite color is red, right? Obviously, I'm from Determined. and then, but the older heads always looked out for me, like the floor, the max, like the older heads. I don't gotta name everybody, but you know what I'm saying? Because I
Yeah.
was all like, I would go grab chips from like over there in the apartments that you lived in. I'd grab a bag of chips and just run into determined. Like I wasn't tripping, motherfuckers would give me $2. I was getting, I was
Yeah.
getting, I should have got more, but like from an early
Especially with
age, like
those guys were doing big things.
right, like I remember like when the feds came and got them, they're taking houses. Fuck it. It was very structured. It was very, and I felt like, especially in our neighborhood, like I always called you guys a neighborhood watch. I felt like it was a bit safer. And like I said, because me, I had to like, as far as like the street shit, I never really sold or nothing until like I was in my 20s. I was always doing the dumb shit because I was the white boy. I had to get the respect.
Yeah.
And then, but when I had my son, I had custody of him early. So like, I was always like 1 foot in, 1 foot out with that. How what you were like entrenched in, like raised in it, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like what I'm getting at is like me, I was just more of a product of my environment. And as far as like your parents and shit like that, same. But like with you, like, do you ever feel like you had any other like there was any other avenue? Because what I'm getting at is the block we're from starts early. Like the
Yeah.
first time we made a gang and jumped in people in our gang was second grade.
Yeah. Nah, I think everybody has a chance, bro. I must just start by saying that, because there's people I grew up with where their situation was worse than mine was, you know what I mean?
Bro,
And
facts,
they
facts.
and they made it out, bro. But the thing is that like I think I was just so I want to say like enthralled by like the lifestyle at an early
It's
age, like
fun.
bro.
It's
Yeah,
fun. When you're really doing shit, it is fun.
yeah. Like I want to say like I was in kindergarten, bro. My favorite movie was Blood and Blood Out, and then later
Right,
American.
right, right, right. I used
Like
to watch
bro,
that
like
shit in Spanish at my homie's house.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like that's like like that's I always knew I wanted to be a gangster. You feel me? Like I always knew I wanted to be like what I mean. I always knew like I was always like and infatuated with the lifestyle, bro. And then
Right,
when I got
same.
into middle school, like I went to school in Merced for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like in middle school, like I went to Hoover, I went to Tenaya, I went to Quickshane, and like I didn't even bang, bro. Like I didn't, you know what I mean? But the fact that where my family was from, and like like at that time, like gangster music was like the thing, So I like listening to like to music like that. You know what I mean? That
The
wasn't
ones
from
you
this side of
mentioned, right,
California. You know what I mean? Well, that wasn't from this side of California. So
right.
like pops, like I was labeled you know what I mean, a derogatory term for for the side I rep. You know what I mean? And I didn't
Yeah,
even bang, bro. So, but it was just to the fact that it was like, all right, like, fuck you guys, then, like honestly, I did kind of side with this side a little bit more. So it was,
yeah.
so I was like, fuck it, like you fools want to be tripping, then it is what it is. So I moved back to Atwater when my mom got out of prison. She moved us back to Atwater. We got a spot out here, and the only reason we moved back to Atwater is because we couldn't find a spot in Merced. So that shit was destiny, like a motherfucker. I
Right.
ended up moving back to Atwater, and then yeah, like, and then that's all she wrote, bro. You know what I mean? I started hanging
Yeah.
out with my
And
friends.
like to give context, like for like other people who may like see us or whatever, our neighborhood, like, so I'm not like I lived a little bit on Olive, just a little bit more on Olive Boulevard, but I'm literally from like 1995 to 2018. I was on the neighborhood, right?
Yeah,
If you want to go outside, you have to participate because either you're going to be a part of it or they're going to fuck with you. And the thing about, so it was a little bit different. You know how you said like you were siding with the other side, right? The generation before you almost made me turn into a Norteño. And I never had, and being from the neighborhood I'm from, like, I've never seen a Norteño.
yeah,
Like, which is crazy because we're in Northern California, but like, you know how it is in our area. Out when I went in, it's very one side. And, but, my best friend was named Tyrone. He lived on, Kelso. No, Swaps. He lived on Swaps.
I lived in the
And,
trenches.
yeah, yeah, right. And, he was we were like the original Robin Big. But it would be funny because there'd be like eight essays who I grew up with, and they're my friends, right? But it would be like, you know how it is, like there's nobody else to beef with, so they have to find someone to beef with.
Yeah, that's definitely it. That's
The
that's
little
definitely
kids,
what it was. Like even when
yeah,
I was
yeah, that's all it was. It was just little kid shit because they have to find someone to make their bones with.
and it's like gang banging ain't no fun when you don't got no one to gang bang against. So it's kind of like
Exactly, like if it's
who's
just
fault
one
victim.
side, and you know how like the neighborhood is very like, especially around those times, it's very structured.
Yeah, like honestly, I think what it is too is like it's a lot of times it's white boys, bro. Like I'm not even gonna lie, it's white boys. They wear red, and a motherfucker tries to stand up, like like tries to like bully him, like, hey, you can't be wearing that shit around here. And then like when that person like doesn't back down and doesn't give them what they want, which is like what I mean, like fear. then
Yeah.
then it's gonna be it's like, all right, well, you know what I mean? We don't got no one else to beef with, so it's like fuck it,
Yeah,
just
it's
cool, you know?
spot on.
Yeah,
And it was funny too, because I had always thought like, because like I was the type, like I'm small, so I was never the biggest. But what I would do is, my mom knew I was with this shit early,
yeah,
so I would run up on you at Food Fest with your mom. And a lot of people, they're going to church on Sunday and they're gang banging privately.
yeah,
But my whole thing, like, for the most part, I got along with the whole neighborhood. But I was the type, like, if I didn't like one person in the group, it was like fuck the whole group.
yeah,
But it would be hella funny because the older heads were always good to me and they looked out for me. So I always thought like, oh, they're not taking it to the next level because like they know what I'll do. Like, being arrogant and fucking just, delusional. And the whole time I just had people looking out for me.
yeah. Nah, for sure. Nah, it's a dangerous game, bro. That you play because like there's been people who like you know what I mean. Like the streets, they ain't got no pity, bro, for anybody. You know what I mean? There's been
Nah,
people
at
that
all.
there's been people like in that circumstance like where they don't bang, but they're not gonna let themselves get like bullied into like, oh, I could wear
Mm.
whatever color I want, bro. Like at the end of the day, you gotta like understand like what's more important, bro, your life or you
Yeah,
know
it's just common sense.
and it's like because like there's crash outs that will take it to that level, like you know what I mean, and like and there's been people who have died over that shit, you know what I mean, like
Right, right,
I can name a few and I'm pretty sure you can name a few, so it's like
right, right.
so like at the end of the day, it's like the game, the streets are just it's just crazy, bro. Like stand on your business and hold your own. I respect that, bro. But just you know what I mean, know what comes
Yeah.
with it.
It's
And
a fine line between being being prideful and then getting killed from your ego.
yeah, just being stupid. Like
And that's a good point too, because it's like, so when I was younger, I used to always pride myself like I'll never run. If the window rolls down, we'll see what right. And there was some dude I respected, and he was like, "That's stupid. Like, fear keeps you alive, right? You know,
no,
what
that's
I'm
a
saying? Like,
that's a
you
that's a instinct that keeps us even with animals. Like you know what I mean, fear is what keeps you alive.
exactly like
Yeah.
that survival instinct. Like he was the one that told me, and this was like a really respected dude who just got out of prison. You know what I'm saying? He's been in prison for a while, or whatever. And then he was just like, the bravest people die first.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely for sure. And I known a few, I've known a few that happened to and shit. You know what I mean? RP, the homie Fabian. Same.
That's I because Fabian's cousins were a close friend of mine,
Yeah, so like that's
so
kind of what happened
that's who I
to
was
him.
thinking of as well.
That's kind of what happened to him. Like he was, he walked towards the car instead of walking away
Right,
from it. You know what I
right.
mean? You know what I mean? Like, RP to him, but like at the end of the day, that's someone's life, like and especially like in this game we played, like there's always somebody you don't even know, you never seen before in your life, and their mission, their sole mission in life is to kill you,
Yeah,
and same thing back the other way, and that's why, you know what I mean, like me personally, like I'm not gonna lie, like you know what I mean, there's been times where they've been like, oh, this fool ran, like fuck you expect me to do, bro? Like when I was a kid, obviously I don't put myself in those. Well, I try not to put myself in those predicaments anymore. But when I was a kid, I was, you know what I mean. That's when you're out there, you're
you're
walking, you're
walking around
riding.
like,
Yeah. So there's been times where they hopped out on me. I didn't have shit. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And I hit the pavement or I fucking took off running. And you know what I mean. There's nothing wrong. Like oh, like he ran, motherfucker. Like that shit probably kept me alive. Like
yeah,
bro,
yeah,
I've been
facts.
I've
And
been
you
hit.
think about that shit too.
I've been hit.
Like,
I've been hit 3 times, 2 different occasions, bro. Where I've gotten hit, bro. And the first time I was in ICU, I was in critical condition, bro. So I almost lost my life a couple times, bro. So I don't take that shit lightly,
yeah, and take it from someone who's in the ICU room, it's wild too. Like when I was in there too, bro. Like I think like 4 cold blues. Like I just kept hearing people die and die and die. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like, and what's crazy too is like I'm glad we brought this up too because this is like where we can get to the real conversation. So I have this theory, right? Because the social media and all that shit, right? Look at people like us. We were really doing wild shit at a young age. Like we were learning the streets real early, right? And me, I was getting fucked up inside my house, and my dad was a snitch and like the type of tweaker who would rob you and then like run and then leave his kids to deal with it.
yeah,
But I didn't back down even when because I protect my little brother, and then that's why the older head started respecting whatever, right? So with this new era of kids, but with that being said, when you guys fucked up, you got disciplined, or and at least and the ones who cared, they would teach you like, hey, relax, right? Now you got these kids, 18 years old, they played sports their whole lives or whatever the case may be, right? And they may be low key bad undercover, but because they didn't grow up in the politics, they don't really know how to move properly, and they put themselves in harm's way a lot. and like they're making up their own little gangs. So there's no like structure, there's no teachings, there's no like none of that shit. And I feel like that's why a lot of the murder rate is up high. And at the end of the day, well, you know how hard it was to get a gun when we were kids. You have to know someone who knows someone.
Yeah, no, and
Like
even at that, you wasn't getting no Glock or no damn fucking.
hell no, you're getting a
You getting a deuce or a deuce five. I haven't even seen a deuce five in like I don't know how
that's
long.
put together with tape.
Yeah, and or a fucking 22 rifle, or you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Those were the type of guns we were rock. I think if you was doing real good, you got a little 380. You know what I mean. But those were the type of guns
yeah.
that were available to us when I was a kid. Now these motherfuckers, bro, the ghost gun game has made it so fucking easy, bro, for kids to pretty
And all
much
you gotta do is
get
post.
guns. Anybody.
And all you gotta do is post a Snapchat. Hey, who got the strap?
Yeah, that's what's crazy, bro. And honestly, bro, even at that, bro, like any kids that are watching, bro, don't fucking burn yourself out on social media. You know what I mean? Like the feds are watching, bro. It's a real fucking thing.
You see what happened to that dude? You see,
Meta works with law enforcement, bro. Like straight
right?
up, I've seen it
Like
personally myself so many times.
yeah, and dirty deeds are meant to stay quiet. If
Yeah,
people want, but there's a psychological like connection between like catching a body and wanting people to know you caught a body.
yeah, no, for sure.
And then
Because
but
real
like
gangsters move in silence, bro. I heard that when I was a kid, and I've always tried to live by that. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's different era though. We were raised like, and I said we because like it's the same people. Obviously, like that was in your house and shit like that, but it's for the same. I was always outside. My mom worked 2 jobs. My dad was out tweaking, if you know what I'm saying. And so I was just always outside. And when you're
Yeah,
always outside in the '90s and early 2000s, you're gonna see some shit.
yeah,
But you learn, like you learn a lot. Like when I started slanging in the neighborhood, obviously I knew what the area was pushing, so I didn't step on toes. You know what I'm saying? But that's me knowing the game. There's a lot of people who go in the area and don't know that shit and then just be doing shit. But to me, it's like especially they always said this with gangs back in the day, but a lot of it now is like blind leading the blind. It's three fans making their own gang, but they don't really know
yeah.
what they're doing.
Well, yeah, and then not only that, but it's just like because I think a big part of that was just like a lot of the crackdowns that they did. You know, they put away a lot of the people who were probably simmering down the streets. You know, like yeah,
Right.
like this guy's a gang member. This guy, you know, like we need to put this guy away. But like honestly, bro, um like there has to be a balance to this shit, bro. There's a yin
Mm.
yang for a reason, bro. Like you know the good and the bad like kind of keep each other leveled. So like within like you know what I mean, like when you take all the older heads who are like keeping these younger heads in line, you take away the older heads. So now the you know what I mean, like now this crash out kid who's trying to make
Exactly.
stuff is free to do whatever he wants, and he doesn't have that balance, that older head to tell him like, hey, you know, like chill the fuck out, you know,
Yeah.
or hey, bro, you're doing too much, you know, like so it's like so then like law enforcement wants to cry that the murder rate's fucking high as hell. Like I remember in 2011, I think Merced County was like what like
Number one.
or was it number one? Yeah,
Yeah.
it was number
Per
one
capita.
murder per capita, and
Yeah.
like after that, like you know, like you know, like a lot of older homies started getting out of prison, and that was my generation. You know what I mean? That was my generation that murder rate was high like that. A lot of
Right.
older heads started getting out of prison and started kind of gaming us up. So like you know, it was kind of more. I don't even want to incriminate, but it was like a little bit more. You know what I mean? It was a little bit more like let's just say like a little bit more. You know, like
Organized.
organ calculated. You know, so it's like
Calculate. But
yeah,
like, so
so
to give context too, from what you're saying too, is like the generation before you guys, they were all money and quiet. Like when they
yeah.
got caught up, it was houses, boats.
Yeah.
Because I
Well,
played,
because
I played baseball.
that first sweep, all right, so like I came around in 2009, 2010. So that first sweep happened in 2007. So it was like 2, 3 years before I came around.
Right,
So when I
right.
came around, we were just running wild, bro. And then
And
that's when
then,
I
but
heard,
like when you say you came around too, like you were entrenched in it. Like I know your
yeah.
family
But I mean, like actually, like you
out
know, like hopped off the
participating.
porch, you know.
Right,
So
right, right.
so
But
like
that's my point too, though, is that you're still learning, though. You're still observing, and you're
yeah,
kind of learning the ways. You got these guys. You know what bothered me a lot when people would come, especially like around the times, because I didn't really start getting cool, like you know, with the neighborhood until I was like 18, and I lived there my entire life. Is when people who didn't bang, who would think they were tough or anything, and then come start some shit and then go home,
yeah, no,
and
for
then
sure,
leave us. But those are the people who end up, to me, those are the people who end up getting like done dirty, or like the people who try to like slang to everybody. Like
yeah,
they just oh, you got money, boom boom boom, and then it's like there's no like they don't think ahead of time at all these days.
yeah.
Like there's
Well,
no being two steps ahead anymore.
Yeah, well, honestly, like I kind of was like that too. Like at one point, you know, like
Well, all kids are, but these are
yeah,
adults doing it now.
yeah, no, no, for sure. You know what I mean? I was a kid, and you remember what I used to do back then, you know, for money and shit. You know what I mean? So
Right.
like, got to talk about that, but you know what I mean? You know, and so
Yeah.
I was kind of guilty of that too. Like I was kind of like, oh, this was money, fuck it. You know what I mean? But that's because, you know what I mean, I was starving, bro. Like, you know what I mean? That's how I was
But
feeling myself. And like, to be honest, that's kind of how everything led up to getting cracked with the feds.
yeah,
They, you know,
drugs always lead to it.
they threw steak in front of a hungry person and we took it, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
so, you know what I mean? We bit the bait, bro. And you know what I mean? And next thing you know what I mean, we're getting caught up for control buys and shit, bro. Cause
Yeah. But it's a little different from like you guys or people who've been around real reputable people. Because like when you're running around just getting money, you know what to do. The problem is you got these people who just started slanging and they don't know the game. They don't know the streets really, and they're doing that shit. And like not to like there's a little youngster who used to have some stuff for me, but like the day I got stabbed, he got killed and like a deal gone wrong right there at Buhack.
oh,
But it's
okay.
like back in the day, like if I had this thing like MySpace, right? So like uh if there was somebody like if there was a girl and she had one friend of somebody I didn't get along with or someone I wasn't cool with, I wouldn't even risk it.
Yeah.
And
Not for sure.
it was
Yeah.
that dude from there was a guy who got set up and got put on train tracks in Merced back in the day.
Oh, I remember that. I was going to Hoover when that happened, bro.
Right, right. And like to me, like I've always like learned by other people's mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah, not for sure. Nah, I seen a lot too. I think like with us, bro, it wasn't like we were just like, oh, this guy's a random dude with money. It was more like somebody we trusted, um, set us up. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, right. Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah,
yeah. So like that was kind of like the thing. It was like this guy had a reference of somebody we trusted. Somebody brought him to us that we trusted. So
right,
like yeah, like there is that. Like we wouldn't have started selling to you know, like just a random person, like that random, you know what I mean?
right.
Just, I mean, like, so you know what I mean? It is what it is, bro. But
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times, people don't know the streets. They try to hop into the deep end and they end up getting themselves
Right.
killed
And and
or
it's arrogance. They end up killing someone or get someone killed, and
Mhm.
at the end of the day, both people who involved most of the time, it ain't even gang members killing gang members anymore.
No, it's everybody. It's everybody, bro.
It's
And
every man for himself, and
to
that's
be
why I tell
honest,
myself,
what I was going earlier with it too was that, like, you know, for so long it was I don't want to say it was calm because it was still, you know what I mean, people still had to do what they had to do, but for the longest time, bro, we our that murder rate had dropped. But
right?
when they locked everybody up, like now you got a bunch of kids just running wild, and now I want to say Merced County's back at the top of the list, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
What it is too is you like you said, you got everybody running a wild, and they're all trying to make a name for themselves, and they know the top spots open on the streets.
And not only that, but it's so easy for people to get guns now, bro.
It
Like,
like like we said earlier, just one post.
yeah, one post, yeah,
So
exactly.
and then to me, I feel like that those when they go to prison, that's a culture shock, or that's the people who end up telling. So when you first went to prison, like what were some of your like first thoughts that you remember?
Um, So it's the first time I went to prison, like it was a turnaround, bro. Like I was in the county for like 3 4 months. Nah, like yeah, 3 4 months. I hit prison. I was there for a couple months. So
Which county and Merced, by the way, I mean to cut you off, but county and Merced, by the way, is different.
yeah, no,
Motherfuckers die weekly.
yeah, yeah, no, for sure. When I first, all right, I'll talk about the first time I hit county. I was 18. I had got caught up for a brandishing charge, right? Like I supposedly, allegedly, I pulled out a gun on somebody at the 76 over here by Outwater High. Um, that guy's no longer here, you know, but with amongst the living, but you know, I think he died like in a car accident or some shit. But anyways, he told on me, so I ended up hitting the county. I was 18, barely 18. I was still technically in high school, so I hit the
You don't
county.
gotta say his name. White boy?
Yeah.
I think I just know I put two and two together. I think I know. Yeah, I don't know him, but I see a lot of people were posting him, and I see in the comments.
Yeah, no, he was. I have paperwork on that motherfucker like that thick. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
nah. So I hit the county. You know, and I had gotten taken into the county like late at night, so it was probably like it was already like 10 o'clock. So I'm walking down a dark ass tier, bro, and then like everybody's just quiet because you know the program has shut down already. I'm just looking. I see a bunch of people just looking at me through the bars because it's bars in the county. I'm 18. I'm just like, damn. I'm just walking, and I see a couple heads I recognize. So you know, it made me feel a little bit better. But they threw me in a cell full of homies from Los Baños, and I didn't like that. Like they're our county, but they're other side of the
Yeah,
county.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know a lot of them, you know. So I'm thrown. I got thrown in a cell with a bunch of you know, I don't say random people because a lot of them were good dudes, but you know what I mean. At the time, random people, you know.
Yeah, random nonetheless.
Yeah. So it was just for sure, bro. It was a trip. But when I first got to prison, the first time it was like we were on lockdown for the most part, you
Yeah,
know. So I didn't get to really mingle, but I'm gonna say when I caught my case, when I caught they sentenced me to 11 years 8 months, right? So I'm fighting this case, and they offered me 12 years, 8 months, 85%. I'm like, hell nah, bro, I ain't taking that shit. You know what I mean? So
right.
I kept fighting it. They pushed it up to 18 years, and then like my max was like at first my max was life, but they ended up dropping the attempt of murder. So I ended up just getting stuck with the gun charge. But they're trying to max me out for that gun charge because the gang enhancement, the circumstances of the case, they're trying to max me out. They're like, look, the life is off the table, but you're still facing 38 years. So and you go to trial. The judge told me that look, you go to trial, you're gonna lose. Like you're better off just trying to take a deal. So I'm
Yeah,
like, man, you know. So
trying to
yeah,
honey
I-
dick you into that shit.
yeah. So I'm like, bro, I ain't taking no damn 18 years. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
For a gun charge, you got me effed up. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
kept fighting it, kept fighting it. Next thing you know, I'm in the county like a year. They ended up offering me a deal. The 12 years 8 months, right? And I'm like, I'm not taking that, bro. Like they already offered me that. I'm not taking it. They're trying to offer it to me again. My judge was like, oh well, you know, she was like, it's 85, but maybe we could get halftime. I'm like, nah, bro. Like 6 years is still too damn long for a gun charge, bro. Like this is
Is that
fucking
the one you
ridiculous.
said your mom got you a lawyer, or was that a
No,
public
that was
defender?
when I was juvenile. That this time I was already on my own, bro. Like they had already got tired of my shit. You know what I mean? So
Especially
I
your mom growing up the way she did too. Like she's like, I'm not about to do this for another 30 years.
yeah, and honestly, I'm glad she didn't, bro, because I probably wouldn't have learned my lesson, bro. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
So I ended
Tough
up
love.
I ended up like saying like, nah, I'm not taking the 12 years. And so the judge is like, look, like pretty much felt bad for me, bro. Like he's like, look, I'm offer you one last deal. If not, you're going to trial. And he's like, you know, like all the evidence is there. Like you go to trial, you're gonna lose, bro. Like there's pictures, you know, there's pictures. You got
Right.
caught red-handed. So like there's no way you're gonna beat this. He's like, look, I'm gonna offer you one deal. If you want to take it, like, you know, like if not, you're going to trial. And you're gonna get the 38 years, and you're gonna get the two strikes because that's the thing I was holding out for because I think I would have took the 12 years if they wouldn't have offered me if they wouldn't have made me take it with two strikes. So he's like, look, he's like, I'm gonna offer you 11 years 8 months, and with the two strikes, he's like, that's a year less. Like, what do you want to do? So I looked at my lawyer. She advised me like, dude, just take it. Pretty much, you know, like no one had faith in it. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna go to trial with a lawyer that has no faith in me. You know, so I ended up signing it. I ended up going back to the holding cell. Like, damn, what the hell did I just sign? You know, so
Yeah, especially too, like when you're young, like when I caught my first case too, like it was in North Dakota, bro. Like it's almost like they're not even speaking English a lot too when they're talking. Like it's hard to
yeah,
comprehend when you're younger.
yeah, no, for sure, bro. So I ended up going to prison. I get there, and off top, I see people I know already there. You know, so I
Which
was there,
prison was the first one?
huh?
Which prison was it? The first one?
Delano, North Kern.
Delano, yeah.
So yeah, so I get there. I already know people I know. Like, you know, I get embraced. Like I see my date, right. It was like 2027. Like that was my release date. So I'm like, fuck it. You know, I'm already here. Might as well get comfortable. You know. So yeah, bro. You know what I mean? I was just doing my time. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Did what I had to do. You know what I mean? A couple times. You know, like I wasn't tripping, bro. Had a release date that was way the fuck off. You know, like I didn't have no. Like at the time I didn't have no kids, so I didn't have nothing to come home to, bro. Like I'm just like fuck it. You know what I mean? Like if I max out, I max out.
All in.
All in, yeah, for sure. I was on that crash out mentality. I'm there for years, bro. I ended up going to Ironwood. Ended up going to Susanville. That's where I finished my time at. And around that time, they a new law came into effect, so everybody's time dropped. So I was a nonviolent second striker. Like I was a nonviolent first offender and a nonviolent second striker. So so they ended up so I my time ended up I was expecting it to get dropped to 66, ended up getting dropped to halftime. So my time it went from 2027, my date went to 2023, something like that. So
So I got so like I grew up with more Mexicans, right? Because like every gangs, every ghetto, they got their own ways, right?
yeah.
So one thing I know about like people I grew up with the most, did you always like count on the fact you're going to prison? Did you look forward to it?
Yeah,
Or was it like
I was
fuck
just
that?
trying
I'm
to
trying to get away from that. Like I'm
I was
trying to be
telling
the
my
one that gets
girl.
away with shit.
Nah, hell nah, bro. I told my girl the other day, matter of fact, because I ended up getting my GED in prison, right? So like I came
Right.
home 6 months early because I got my GED. Literally, I got my GED and came home 2 weeks later. So I remember at the time, like I had went to county. I ended up dropping out of high school, like You know what I mean? Like fuck it. You know what I mean? So and then at that time I had heard that that people were that you would get time off for getting your GD in prison. So I'm like, I'll just wait. I'll just wait to get it because it's like I always wanted my GD, bro. Like I know it sounds crazy because a lot of times you don't even need that shit, but that was something I felt like I needed.
It's
Like
validation. It's validation. Let you know,
yeah,
like I'm not a dumbass.
for sure.
I
So
don't even have mine, to be honest with you.
okay, yeah, no, see, so I didn't have it either. So
Yeah.
like, but at that time, I'm like, man, you know, like, and I thought about going to adult school, but the only reason that held me back from doing that was like, nah, when I go to prison, I'll just wait till I get it then, and I'll get some time knocked off. Bro, I'm over here setting myself up for failure, you know. But I
Right,
always knew
right.
I was.
You already speak it into existence.
Yeah, I already knew. And then what's crazy is I told her too. I told my girl the other day too. I'm like, and I always had that magic number in my head, 5 years, 5 years. Like I don't know why I always felt like I was gonna do 5 years. I ended up doing 5 years, bro. That's what I ended up doing. You know what I mean? So it's like
Right.
I know that, like, and I ended up, yeah, bro. So yeah, I always knew I was going to prison, bro. It was never something that I thought wasn't never gonna happen. I wasn't something that was like, oh, I can't see that for myself. Like, nah, bro. I knew I was going to go end up in prison, especially at a young age when I started hitting the halls every other week. I ended up getting hit in the county like a few times. Like I just knew I seen it coming, bro. The first time I went to
Yeah.
prison and I ended up doing that turnaround because of the violation, I knew that wasn't it for me either, bro. I knew I was gonna end up coming back, bro, because at that time
Right.
I didn't see the main line. So I'm like, I know I'm gonna come back and I know I'm gonna see the main line, bro. I was on reception the whole time. I know I'm gonna come back to the main line. Like sure enough, bro, I ended up coming back.
When when did they validate you? How old were you when you got validated?
What by like gang task force?
Yeah, like because back in I don't know if they still do it. Back in our day, they used to have cards. Like you had
Nah,
like
so
a
see, like with me, bro, I mean, obviously they knew like where I was from and stuff, but I refused to do like they'll be like they would hit me like I would end up going to jail for that shit too a couple times. They'll be like, hey, you got to get out and you got to register with the gang. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I'm not
mhm.
gonna fucking do that shit.
Yeah,
You
a
know?
lot of people would just be telling on themselves.
Yeah, I was like, fuck that. I don't care. I didn't care about being in jail or not, bro. But I knew for sure I wasn't gonna voluntarily walk into a damn police station and tell them I'm a gang member, bro. Like they
Right.
got my way fucked up. So I never did it. I never did it. I'm not gonna lie. This time, I got out of prison. I came out for doing the 5 years. I did it. I just did it because I'm just like, because at that time, like I'd been away for so long. I was like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I already
and you grow up. You grow up, and it's
yeah,
just like
I'm just like fuck it. Like I kind of I went along with everything my PO told me because first of all I was trying to discharge and second of all like you know like like at that time I had got a decent job and you know I was just more focused on trying to stay out. So I just did it, bro. But even then I didn't feel right, bro. And then like the cop was over there trying to ask me questions like if I'm a tell or something, bro. And I was just like look like he's over here asking me like way out like you know maybe in a private conversations I'll tell you what he was telling me, but I told him look, bro, I'm not here for none of that. I'm just here to fucking to register because my PO told me to. Other than that, bro, you can save it. He tried to give me his card, fucking threw it away in front of him, bro. Like, and that cop ended up fucking with me later on too. When I was shooting a video, like I want to say a couple years ago, they over there on Willow Street, they hopped out on me, you know, and he was the one that hopped out on me. What's up, Spooky? What's up? I'm like, bro, what the fuck you doing? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even doing nothing. He's like, you're on parole. You're on parole. Bro, at that time, all I was doing was buying a fucking a raspado for a raspado lady and shit. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
we were shooting the video. The cameraman was, you know, rolling and shit. And but yeah, bro, like, and then I was already off parole. That same fucking cop, right? I was off parole. I was in Merced at Rayleigh's. I was on my way to Chachilla, so I stopped right there to get some groceries to take to a. It was I think it was New Year's Eve or Christmas, something somewhere. No, I think it was New Year's Eve. I was going to a New Year's Eve party at a family's house. They made pozole, so they asked me to stop to get some chips, right? So for the pozole, so I stopped to get some chips, and I didn't even see where the hell this guy came from, bro. Hey, look, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I had barely hit with a fucking fat ass rap check, right? I had dropped like I think that year it was 2023. I dropped like three major releases, right? And I stacked up on it, right? So I ended up getting the money I made from YouTube, and I ended up putting a down payment on a fucking Mercedes, bro. Like fuck it, you know what I mean? I fucking I'm like fuck it, I earned this shit. So I bought a Mercedes, bro on everything I love, bro. It was all rap money, bro. So I dropped the down payment on that shit, and I had barely got it. I only had it like 2 3 days, shiny as hell, brand new. You know, like you know, I'm feeling like the shit. It didn't have tinted windows yet. That's what happened was I hadn't tinted the windows yet. So I'm bumping music hella loud, bro, and I turned into but I had my windows up because it was cold. So it wasn't like I was like, you know, like the music was like,
right,
but
right.
but
Just
it was enough to where I wasn't aware of like what was going on around me. I
yeah.
pulled into
You're
the
probably on
parking.
cloud 9 too, though. Living, you
Yeah,
know what I'm
bro,
saying? Like you're
I'm in a brand new Benz I just barely bought. You know what I mean? I had barely got off parole a few months before that. Like, you know, I
and
got
let me
money in
put
my
it into
pocket.
context. Let me put it into context so people don't know. You used to drive around busting knocks in a beat up old school with no back window.
Yeah. exactly, bro.
So
So
so I
like I'm
get it. So like
driving.
that's what I'm saying. That's a different feeling.
Yeah, no, for sure, bro. I'm feeling like that nigga. You feel me? So I hit the corner. I park. I pull up into Rayleigh's, and I pull into my parking spot, right? And then I just fucking see like in my peripheral vision in the fucking rearview mirror, I see some fucking lights flash me out of nowhere, bro. I'm like, what the fuck? And then I was like, what's up with this guy, you know? And then like, so this fool walks up on me. Next thing I see two more cops pull up, gang task force, and then they come, and then I roll down the window. I'm like, what's up? And they're like, oh, what's up, Spooky? What you doing around here? You know, ooh, it's Northern Territory. I'm like, bro, I'm going to this
I,
fucking bougie ass fucking grocery store right now. That's what I'm doing here.
I remember when they used to go down the block bumping Northam music.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I'm just like, bro, like this is a fucking nice ass part of Merced. That's the reason I stopped here. You know what I mean? And
Would you say it
yeah,
was at Rayleigh's?
yeah, it was Rayleigh's, bro. It was fucking nice ass part of Merced.
Right,
So
right.
they're like, hey, well, what's up? Like, we're gonna search the car because you're on parole. I told them, no, the fuck, I'm not. And then they're like, you're not on parole? Like, nah, I'm not on parole. And then they're like, oh, they're like, when'd you get off? I'm like, I got off in April. It was already fucking like It was already December 31st, New Year's Eve, bro. I'm like, I got off in April. And then they're like, all right. And they're like, oh, we stopped you because you don't have license plates. I'm like, yeah, bro, this is a temporary license plate from the dealer, bro. I just got this motherfucker. And then they made me pull out my registration. They fucking couldn't believe I had it. You know, they're like, oh, whose car is
Yeah.
this? Like, bro, it's
They
mine.
thought they had you.
Yeah, they didn't believe me that it was mine, so they ran my
They
name.
thought they had you in your mom's car.
Yeah, and then no, they thought they had me in a fucking stolen car or something, bro.
Yeah.
And then they did everything but made me pop the fucking trunk and run the VIN, you know. So like or pop the hood and run the VIN, you know. So they're like, oh what did they ask me? They try to ask me something. They're like, oh, you still active? And I told them, bro, look, if I'm fucking doing something wrong, give me my ticket and get the fuck out of my face, bro. I'm not answering none of that shit. You know what I mean? Uh um, they're like, um, like I'm not doing none of that shit. You know what I mean? So you know what I mean? Like, give me my ticket and keep pushing. And they're like, all right, man. Like, they're like, all right, well, stay out of trouble. You know? So yeah, bro. They be fucking me even to this day, bro. Like,
I was about to ask you, do they you feel like they fuck with you more now that you're trying to get your shit together? Like not trying, you've got your
no,
shit together.
not honestly, bro. They don't fuck with me more because back then
Mm.
I used to be on the streets. I was more accessible to them. But I feel like they still fuck with me. Like maybe not as bad
They're
as back.
watching. They're watching for
Yeah,
sure.
but they still fuck with me. They definitely still fuck with me, and I think it annoys me more now because back then it's like, you got me, like you know, I was doing shit I
Yeah.
wasn't supposed to be doing. But now that like I'm kind of more like out the way, the fact that they still fuck with me is kind of annoying. But I mean, I make music, so that's kind of why they fuck with me. You know, like it's just
Would you
like
say they harass like your little homies and shit, like asking about you?
yeah, kind of, yeah, they kind of do. But I mean, like when you're young, bro, you bring that shit upon yourself, like
Oh,
law
for sure. You're just too you're like
harassment,
you said, you're too accessible.
too accessible, bro. You know what I mean? And
Like I said, by time like so when I was like 16, I had just came to the apartment, right? And some dude from PPL walked in, prison dude, right? And he goes, where do you stand? And I'm young, I ain't never heard that lingo. So I'm like, what? And he's like, where do you stand? And I'm like, what do I bang? And he goes, yeah. I was like, oh, I ain't from nowhere. And then he goes, how old are you? I was like, 15. And then he never looked at me again. He asked the next dude. And it turned out the other dude was a dropout from like a northern gang. But that had nothing to do with that. His sister got disrespected. But bro, this motherfucker said he was 19 and just starts getting sliced up, sliced up, sliced up, right? By that time, I had lied to the cops in the original ship. So I heard they're looking for me. We went out like 3 a.m. I took my friend with me instead of my parents to prove, like, you know. But because of like the conversation we're having and just being outside and being fucked with by the cops so much, I was already professional. Like as far as being interrogated, like I was just dancing around them because what they're trying to get you to do is caught up in a lie.
yeah.
But I
Nah,
told them straight
honestly,
up,
and like a lot of the APD, like I well you I don't think you don't live in Atwater no more, huh?
nah, nah.
Okay, so like a lot of the new APD is like they're all rookies, bro. Like, and
Yeah,
it's
I see that they're hella young.
they're hella young. They're younger than me, bro. So it's um, like I'm used to the old school APD, bro. Like you and I both know what I mean when I say old school APD. These motherfuckers were
Mhm.
ruthless, you know. Um,
Right.
I had, you know what I mean. I had a little bit. I had some respect for them just based
Shit,
on
borderline Hell's Angels.
they were borderline gang. They were borderline gang members, bro. You know what I
Oh
mean?
no, they definitely were borderline gang members, bro. They
Yeah,
start like they would make you feel like you're doing crimes that you ain't even doing. You
yeah,
just hanging out
exactly.
outside.
Yeah, exactly. And so what I'm getting at with that is that like you know these new guys they try to run like you know like little games on me, bro. And it's like I'm not you know what I mean. I'm not you know what I mean. I'm true to this, not new to this, my boy. You know what I mean.
Right. You
So
the
like
rookie here.
yeah, you're the rookie here, bro. Like you know like them pulling me over. Like literally, I want to say one time, I was with my cameraman, right, and it was probably like 8 or 9 at night. We had just wrapped up filming a video. We were coming from Determined, and I was like, "Hey, you want to stop at the AMPM right here on Buhack, and let's like we'll get some like I think it was cold as fuck, so I'm like I'll get you a coffee or or whatever, So we stopped right there. We got some coffee, got some food and shit. So we're dipping. I'm taking them home, bro. And when I'm walking out the AM/PM, a cop cruiser pulls up, and they're walking in. They hold the door open for me, and then I'm like, "Thank you," and they're like, "Oh, no problem." And I see the one that held the door open for me is an older cop. Then there was the younger guy behind him. So I'm wearing a Dallas Cowboys beanie because I'm a Cowboys fan, and you know what I mean. As you are, you know what I mean. I see, you know what I mean. But and I'm wearing a Dallas Cowboys zip up hoodie, right? So like they see me wearing all this blue, and they look at me, and literally the guy that not the guy that held the door open for me, but the other guy, he starts running back to his car, literally sprinted back to his car. So I'm like, oh, he probably got a call or something, whatever. So I jumped in my car, and I'm peeling out, I'm dipping. I fucking turn to go to turn on to Juniper, and this guy gets behind me, and I'm like, oh, this fool wasn't going to call. He's fucking following me. So I'm like, fuck it. Like instead of turning on to Juniper, I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna dip out of Atwater Limits. So I turned to go on to Buhack, and what's it called? He followed me onto Buhack, and he fucking blurred me right in front of the Buhack High School. And you know what I mean? He's over there trying to run game on me, bro. Like, hey, well, hey, can you he's like asking, but he's telling me, like, hey, well, can you step out the vehicle? And I'm like, I ain't stepping out of no damn vehicle. I ain't on parole. And he's like, oh, you ain't stepping out of the vehicle? Are you scared? You have something in the car? I'm like, nah, you just ain't violating my rights today. So they start fucking with my cameraman. They're like, hey, what's your name? He's like, I don't have my ID on me, which isn't a crime, bro. But they pulled him out of the car for that reason. But I'm telling like, nah, you guys are not. I am not consenting to no searches. Like, next thing you know, a hella cop pull up. You know what I mean? Like, so
Just
definitely like,
they're trying to intimidate. They're trying to
yeah, and
like
they're like, hey, like, one of the cops got there that recognized me. I didn't recognize him, but he swore we knew each other. But I don't remember this dude. But he's
yeah.
like, yeah, I've been knowing you since you were a kid. Woo, woo. He's like, you know me, bro. And I'm like, yeah, I know you, but I didn't fucking know the dude.
Mm.
He's like, hey, well, like I like this last video you just did. Woo, woo. Just like, and it's just always bullshit. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then like I feel like too like Outward is different. Like sometimes too you would have those cops who would play like the tough guys, and you would have those cops who would play dumb.
yeah. Although
And
you have the ones that play cool, those are the worst ones.
yeah, those are the worst ones, especially when you're a little kid.
Yeah, because you
So I
kind of
know
like
like
not fall for it, but you're like, like you get, I don't know, like it's just like, hey, fuck
I
with
don't
your
know how to
head.
articulate it either, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
And then so like, cause a lot of people, I feel like they, if you drive around Outwater and you don't go to the spots, whatever, like you wouldn't know. But I feel like, and I don't know if you, feel the same way. I feel like blocks like Olive, Determined, and shit like that, they're almost like xed out. Like if anything happens there, like it don't even hit the news. It don't even hit like for the
no,
most part, like and it's weird because like you go and you see like Atwater getting renovated and shit like that, and then you go on there and you see boarded up fences, boarded up wall, you know what I'm
no,
saying?
it's
And shit
bad.
like
It's bad over here, bro. Like, it's bad. Definitely, like, determined is the trenches. Olive, I feel like is getting a little better, but it's still like me personally, I grew up on Olive.
yeah,
Olive,
yeah. And I
the
feel like
Atwater
what made
Boulevard.
Olive dangerous it was the connection to Livingston. It's
Yeah,
just in and
exactly. Like
out.
like that's the first place getting off the freeway. That's where people are gonna see you.
Right.
They don't see nobody in Olive, then they'll make their way to Determine, or
Right.
they
Exactly.
don't see nobody on
Exactly.
Determine, they'll make their way to Winton, or vice
Yeah.
versa. They'll go to Winton and then make their way to Determine, and then hit
And then
Olive. That's their way back home. So it's
yeah.
like it's a little circle around Atwater. So it's like um definitely. I grew up on Olive. Atwater Boulevard, Olive, Willow Street. That
Right.
was where I grew up. That what I mean. I made my way to Determine later in life, but what I mean. That's where I grew up.
Yeah.
So
And it really is like two jurisdictions because I always felt safe on Determined, but I would always felt like I was out of balance over there on Olive.
well, because on Olive, it was like you were exposed more, bro. Like
Yeah,
on Determine,
and it's just different people too, because like
yeah,
they go to Island Coburn, they and shit like that. So it's just like same but different. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like as
way
far as
different.
the people,
It's way different, bro. Because like even
the
like
culture is even like lightweight different.
even within us, because like obviously we're all the same hood, but like like that not so much anymore because like it doesn't like it's not really like that anymore because like we're not
Yeah,
dense as we were back then, but back then we were a lot more denser. So it'll be
yeah,
like it was almost like a friendly competition, but like a friendly like shit talking, like oh like
yeah. It's like subgenres, Olive versus
Atwater,
yeah.
are you from with Olive? Like it
Mm.
was always definitely shots fired. Like like between us that grew up on this side and the guys that
Yeah, I
grew.
always felt like you guys made more money over there.
Yeah, it was just more it was more diverse because on the Olive side, like yeah, you had Mexicans, you had a lot of Mexicans, and then you had like the homies, but you also had a lot of white people, a
Right,
lot of white
right, right.
people on Olive. Like a lot of the Peckwoods from back then were on Olive. On
Mm.
Determined, it was mostly like it was like there was Mexicans, of course, always, and then the homies, and then there was black, like a lot of black people, like not in a non-racist way, but there was a lot of black
Yeah,
people. So it was
yeah.
like so it was a different it was because you never really seen white people like that on
Nah,
Determined.
and that's what I said. Like the white people that I went to school with, they came from like the Buhack side because there's
Yeah,
less schools,
yeah,
and it was like
definitely. Like
there would be like a white person here, but they were different. They were like the ones who were gonna like do heroin when they get a
yeah,
little bit older. They weren't the same. It'd be like one or two families or some shit. But like,
yeah. No, on Olive, it was definitely like a lot of there was a lot of more like you know the white boys and shit. You know what I mean? And those motherfuckers used to go around stealing our bikes and shit like that. You know what I mean?
yeah, future Hell's Angels.
Nah, future fucking crackheads. Well, they were the
Really,
crackheads.
that's really what it is too.
Yeah,
That's
they
really
were
what it is.
crackheads at the time, but you know what I mean. They were just you know what I mean. The more the like the tweaker white boys, like you know what I mean. Like you know what I mean. If it was a private conversation, I would name some names, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's
See,
neither here nor there.
I just did a I went and drove through the neighborhood, well, my neighborhood over there, from like Mirror to, well, from the canal to Determine, and so I got like videos that I'm editing, bro, and like from like just the neighborhood to show what it is. It's crazy too. Like they try to put those big houses right across the street, like
Yeah,
right there, and it's like that used to be all filled, but it's just I mean, Atwater's trying, but it's like to me they always breed. They're always gonna breed drug addicts and murderers.
yeah. Um, I think Atwater's definitely getting a lot nicer, bro. Like you know,
As
they're
far
trying
as
to
like looking
diversify.
appealing.
Yeah, they're trying to
We
diversify,
even got homeless. We never really had homeless. We had that dude, Crazy
bro.
Chris.
Fucking honestly, bro, like you, like I would, Roston Park used to be our spot to kick it at. We used to go
Right.
right there, smoke weed, you know, chill, bro. You can't even, and then like not only that, but there would be like a lot of birthday parties and barbecues and baby showers right there at the gazebos, bro. You can't even do that no more because like the fucking tweakers and homeless people took that whole gazebo area over, bro. Like
Right. And
you pass through there at night, they're throwing full blown fucking bonfires in the barbecue pit right
yeah,
there.
they'd be deep as fuck too.
Hella D, bro. I'm
And
like,
then and like so it's like and then like I feel like the streets are just so different now. It's just so fucked up too. Like even
hell,
like the drug game, like motherfuckers like are dying from like doing coke. They're dying from what I mean? Like
no, that.
and it's like and we've all known people from the area who've done it, who thought they were taking this and doing that. But like, man, like to jump off the porch into the streets now is just it's a losing game.
Honestly, I would advise against it, bro. Like to be honest.
Facts. It
I would
like
advise and like any kids listening, I would advise like against jumping off the porch. You know what I mean? Like shit, if you honestly like, there's kids that don't got a choice because inside their house isn't the best. You feel me? So
that's how I
like you know,
was. I was getting fucked up in the house, so I'd rather go deal with whatever happened
yeah.
outside.
But like if you have a loving family at home, and I'm not talking about money wise, but like if you have a loving family at home, like if you have some. Especially like if your family has, you know what I mean, like not rich, but they're doing all right. Like if you have an Xbox and a plasma TV in your room, bro, there's no reason why you should be on the streets, bro.
Yeah, kids getting jumped in from the gated community should never happen.
Not at all. You know, and I get it. You know, I get it because
And
I get it. Like you know, some people just like infatuated with this life. You know,
yeah, it's
like I always
appealing.
say, like you know what I mean. It's like in prison they used to tell me like you know like the OGs to be like, hey, like go home, try to make something yourself. Like, but if you're not, if you want to go out there and fuck up, like we'll be waiting right here and we'll have a soap out ready for you. You know, we'll have a top ramen waiting for you. You know,
Yeah,
like
and I'm
got
glad
a
you
lady
said that, man. You
side.
know what I'm tired of too? I'm tired of gang members being a one size fits all. Like,
Which mean,
if you're a gang member, you're already like you're automatically a piece of shit. And
nah,
like the reality of it,
definitely that's what I struggle with in everyday life because like I get shut down for a lot of shit I try to do, right? Like community wise, show wise, like I can't like honestly,
even
bro. Like,
I've seen the other side get shut down too, just trying to do cool shit for the kids.
yeah, no, yeah, for sure. We recently got shut down. Like we were trying to do like a little
The
giveaway
show, right?
back. We were trying to do a give back. Aside from that,
Uh
we are trying to do a give back at the Winston Park
right.
and got shut
Damn.
down, bro. Like, and so yeah, bro. Like we and it wasn't public because obviously
Yeah,
we're not clout demons off of stuff like that. We're
yeah,
doing it for the right reasons.
yeah.
But
Eh,
yeah, bro, we get shut down behind the scenes a lot, bro. And
Cause
it's like oh, he's a gang member, so he like anything he does is not gonna be like pure. It's gonna
right, right.
it's
And it's like what I hate too is like people who because your job makes you a good person. Like the fuck, like no. There's so many rich piece of shit people, and there's so many bums who are good people, right? But do you know the people who looked out for me the most, the reason I have a soft spot for gang members, the reason I like having these conversations, is because the people who were supposed to look out for me never did. You know, the people like that I was like trying to like show off for would always be the ones like, hey, stupid, like stop doing that, bro. Like you're good at baseball, like stop fucking around. Like you just went to New York. Like I feel like gang members are the most genuine, some of the most genuine people as far as good people. Yeah, they have to put on a front about being tough outside, but that's like if you don't look tough, you don't act tough, you're gonna, you know, you don't want to have to prove you're tough all the fucking time.
Yeah, and
It
gang
gets tiring, you know what I mean? Like having to fight every fucking day. But it's like, as far as like human decency, like for example, with the principal shit, all the rich people, white people in upper society were against me. It was all the people from our community who were like, nah, that shit was weird. Like, how you gonna act like you busting up in front of a bunch of kids and act like that ain't cool? Like, to me, there's a higher moral ground in the ghetto that gets overshadowed because the nonsense is louder. But like, you know how much times like the ghetto, like a whole apartment complex, they just ride together. If you don't got it, they got it. If they don't
yeah.
got it, like especially like determined, like it was very like everybody's kind of intertwined and shit. And like we can wrap it up whenever you're ready too. But as far as like that, like you guys getting shut down for trying to do good, it's like they're trying to keep you guys under a certain light. Like, no, we don't want them to look like they're doing any good. Because to them they even see that as a negative influence. Like
Yeah,
you're gonna
no,
make people want to be gang members for doing good. Like gang
yeah.
members, most gang members are missing something. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. Not that, and then that even goes back to like, like I get looked at a certain way because like I make music, right? Like they'll be like like I'm like my own family now, like and I take care of my family, and making music has financially helped me out at times, with making my situation better, like
Yeah, same as
when I
me
got
with fighting and shit. Like it
yeah,
has
when
its
I
moments.
got my own place, like that was, it probably wouldn't have been possible at the time without the income I had coming in from music, So it's like, so, but like because I make music because I don't do it for the money, right? Because like the money, like where I'm at right now, the money's all right, but it's not. I'm not fucking I'm not fucking. You know what I mean? I'm not living it up, fucking in a fucking
Yeah,
mansion.
it was the same thing with me fighting profession. Like if you do it for money, you ain't gonna make it as
Nah,
far.
exactly. So
But
like,
if you keep doing it and progressing, the money's gonna come.
yeah, when the money comes, you know what I mean. The money comes, bro. Like it might not be enough to live off of, but it definitely is a second income that makes what I mean my life a lot easier. So like, but like I get looked at a certain way because I make music, right? Like
Right.
law enforcement with like people who just don't understand. Like they're like, oh, like like you're just corrupting the youth. Like you're making all this poison music that's like what I mean. Like pretty much like if it's a recruitment tool or something. Like nah,
And
bro.
what's
I
funny,
make
what's ironic about that is they must not be listening because
no.
you actually you have quite a bit of music that actually has a message that
No,
actually.
for sure. I like don't get me wrong, bro. I have my music where I'm just going in, bro. Like I'm
Yeah.
talking my shit,
Well, yeah,
I have
you
that
got to do
music
what you got to
too.
you got to do what you got to do. It's however you feel. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
your music is you expressing yourself.
Yeah. Like my my
Hey, hold up.
couple years,
TM2433. My question is, how the fuck do you know exactly what a homosexual necrophiliac pirate looking dudes look like? How much of them you be around? Anyways,
yeah, nah, fucking like I like my couple years ago I dropped the album Death Before the Abridgment, and that whole I had no features on that album, bro. My whole point in that album was just telling like speaking my truth, bro. Like, and I'm talking about like everything that all the negative shit that I went through, all the shit, what I
right.
mean? 'Cause that shit fucks with your mental health, like
Ah, for
you know,
sure. And
constantly losing friends, constantly going to jail, like not being able to progress in life, like what I mean, like every
yeah,
time you
this life,
start,
this life, it fucks you up. It's a broken lifestyle. And like I said, I didn't finish me being on probation or parole until I was 30. You know what I'm saying? Like my kids grew up with them, so I mean to cut you off, but it is like, it fucks with your mental health and people they glorify the toughness a little too much. And a lot of people are broken.
yeah, no, for sure. And so like, yeah, I got, I mean, I got stories for days, like, so, and that shit helps me get it out, so like, I dropped
Yeah.
that whole album. That was the whole purpose of that album was just, like, it was me speaking my truth, bro. And you know what I mean? And yeah, like, I don't know, but a lot of people don't want to hear that type of shit, bro, because, when I come out straight talking my shit, gang banging on some gangsta ass shit, like those motherfuckers do numbers. But when I come out speaking the truth, like that doesn't do numbers because obviously like people, you know what I mean, that's not what people want to hear. They don't want to hear that side of the game, bro.
And speaking of that, it's a whole epidemic too, because that's like the drill music, the drill culture. Like, you got people keeping score, acting like it's a video game. And these are real people dying in Philadelphia, dying in Chicago, dying in California. And
Yeah, like that phrase, check the scoreboard. Like, motherfucker, we ain't playing football, bro. This is real
right,
life.
right. Like I miss my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like at the end of the day, like I got, I got a wristband on one side, I got a memorial on the other side. Like how much time how many of us are like walking memorials, and it's like how many, and I know you feel this shit too. Like how many times you do a show and you're happy, and then you think about your brother, you think
yeah,
about your little homies like that. You know who I'm referring to, and and it's like no matter what. Like, have you seen that clip of Billy? You know who Billy Bob Thornton is?
yeah.
Have you seen that clip where he talked about him losing his brother?
Mm-mm.
So he says basically ever since he lost his brother, he is 50% happy and 50% sad at all times.
No, I feel that shit for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And then like Joseph was my cousin, but we raised him. That's my little brother. You know what I'm saying? And it's different, losing your actual brother. Like my cousin, his brother who lost his brother. Like I can call him my brother all you want, but it's different. It's a different bond, especially when it's your little brother and you feel like you could have really did something to maybe help, right? And
Yeah,
it's like, and I feel like it doesn't get spoken about enough because people always want to talk about the tough guy shit and all that. But like the kids need to hear like this shit is broken.
for
Like
sure.
and like, and not just with death. Like, you know how much people like we can't go see because we're felons. We can't
Yeah,
like,
for
you know,
sure.
what I'm saying. Like like people who are getting life. They're almost gone too. Kevin Gates mentioned that. So you know that song "Hello" by Adele, right? So what he said was that song to me isn't about like love. That song is about me. I can't see my friends ever again who are like doing life. He's a prison dude and shit like that. But it's real shit, and it is a setup for failure, especially these days. At least when we were younger, there was a high chance of us getting away with it because of the lack of cameras and all that shit. And I believe it was Nipsey Hussle who said, um, indirectly, the older heads, the older generations have set up the younger generations for failures because the shit that they were doing is not allowed anymore because of all the cameras.
Yeah,
You do one shooting at a gas station and now there's 50 people getting locked up.
no, for sure. They cracking down on the whole hood.
Yeah.
Nah,
But
yeah, yeah, not for sure. It was a lot easier back then, you know. So it's like you can't have the same expectations because like the last thing I want to do is see like a young man, you know what I mean, fucking a kid, let's say,
mhm,
lose his life, the rest of his life at fucking 15, 16 year old
right.
because like you kind of expect them to do the same shit you were doing. But back then it's a different time, bro. It's like
Yeah.
we can't. It's like you know back in the day it was fucking easy as hell to rob a bank. Everybody was doing it, bro. You know like
Right, yeah.
Kelly all
Literally doing it and
running
then
around
never being seen again.
Bonnie and Clyde, they were just running around robbing banks, bro, like and getting away
Yeah.
with it and doing multiple of them. You know,
Look at all the murders the
nowadays,
mob did.
yeah, bro. Nowadays, you try to rob a bank, bro, you're not making it out the fucking bank, bro.
Nah,
You're either gonna
and they're gonna have cameras so far up, they're gonna see you get out of your car, get into the setup car. You know what I'm saying? Like you're
yeah.
gonna just be trailed the whole way.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can't like so that's like a motherfucker like you know like let's say we had a time machine. That's like a motherfucker from the 1920s trying to come and expecting us like the later generation to do the same thing he was doing. Go rob a bank,
Right,
bro. You're not
right.
gonna. There's no way.
Like
No banks don't
what?
get robbed no more, bro. Like
Yeah.
there's
What do you mean you're broke? Just go rob a bank.
yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the same thing. Like
Yeah.
you can't like the older generation can't expect the younger generation to wild out as bad as they did because they're gonna end up
Right.
getting caught, bro. Like if you pump up a kid to go do what you were doing, they're gonna get caught, bro. You're gonna
Right.
make kid throw his the rest of his life away.
And like to me, and then you got to be very careful. Like I do this with my little cousins and my son too, especially my son. But like I'd be very careful on certain stories I tell because when we were doing it, we were having so much fun and like it is what it is type shit, you know. Like I don't give a fuck what no one says, and this is bad, whatever, bad example. I mean, like but getting shot at, shooting, like everything about that is fucking fun. It
Yeah,
is what it is.
the adrenaline fun.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like you can't you can't mimic that.
Yeah, nah, I feel you.
But
Nah, for sure.
we should definitely do a part two on this though, because it's been running a little bit longer. But I think we have a lot to go over, and we could go a little bit deeper in, like to the aspect of your life too. I feel like the conversation took its course. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'll get a lot of good clips out of this. I'm gonna leave the whole thing up too. But we should definitely do a part two, and probably in person.
All right, yeah, bro. Yeah, go run up that Spencer Falcone. I just dropped that on New Year's Eve. You know what I mean? Spooky Meyers, Spencer Falcone on all platforms, man. You know, run it up for a real one.
Yeah, and it's solid. It's a solid album. It's solid music. It's a good like, and I like the differences. I like that you took risks on there too. Like you kind of got melodies. You're singing on it a little bit. Then you come with the heat when you need to, and like I think it was a real good solid body of work, and you're definitely improving for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
And
appreciate.
I wish we could have talked about the music a little bit more, but we'll do that the next time. We kind of
Yeah, too
got into the
much.
conversation.
It's too much to condense into one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially when like it's a little easier for me to do it when I don't really know the people, so I could, you know what I mean. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'll definitely come correct next time, and I got mics ordered. We got the whole nine. So,
Oh yeah, bro. You know, I appreciate you having me
and
on, bro.
then one more time, Spencer Falcone, Spooky, on all platforms.
All
Spooky Myers, on Instagram,
the official Myers on Instagram.
and
At
then Spooky
Myers
Myers
on YouTube.
on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I'll clip this up and do all that. I hope you enjoyed the conversation, but we'll definitely to dive a little bit more deeper into the mental next time.
All right, hell yeah, bro. I'll send mine.
I appreciate you, man. For
All
real,
right.
for real. Later, man.